Welcome to this Media Freedom Rapid Response interview. The MFRR tracks, monitors, and responds to violation of press and media freedom in Europe. My name is Ilaria Favola, and I'm a human rights lawyer working for Article 19, where I focus on transparency and access to information. Today, we are joined by two esteemed journalists to discuss a growing issue in Romania, restricted access to public information. Although Romania has a robust legal framework in place for obtaining information from public bodies, its implementation is often inconsistent, making it difficult for journalists to access and share vital information with the public. What is particularly troubling in Romania is the persistent refusal of many public institutions to comply with Freedom of Information Act requests, even after courts rule in favor of disclosure. This ongoing obstruction severely impacts journalistic work and undermines transparency and accountability of Romanian institutions. Today, we will explore this troubling trend in Romania and discuss its far-reaching implication for press freedom. Joining us today are two journalists who have faced these challenges firsthand. Emilia Sercan is an investigative journalist, author, and senior lecturer at the University of Bucharest, Faculty of Journalism and Communication Science. And Răzvan Luțac is editor-in-chief of the investigative platform Snoop. Emilia and Răzvan, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The first question I would like to ask you, if you can briefly share with us one of two cases where you have faced delays, lack of response, and other challenges with requesting information to Romanian public bodies, and how these have impacted your journalistic work.
Well, I probably can speak for 2 days long about my experience with a public institution that are not responding to our request for public information. Since 2016, I started to sue this public institution that are not responding to my request, and probably I already gathered about 100 trials in the court. I won most of them, but in the last years, I noticed that the trend is that even I am if I'm winning these trials in the court, the institution are not giving me the information. Even a judge basically said that the information that I requested was a public one, and it was an obligation for the institution to provide me the information. And I think this is the most concerning part. This year I won four trials after I stayed for more than 2 years in the court, just in order to complete the whole process. And I didn't receive the information even I won these 4 particular trials.
And Răzvan, can you tell us your experience with that?
Of course. So we started a new project called Snoop alongside a few colleagues from Libertatea in June, and in July we published our first big story, and it's the case I want to talk about is that of the National University of Political Studies and Public Administration of Bucharest. So one of my colleagues, Ioana Moldovean, who sent them some questions since July. In this case of a university professor that made students undress in front of him. His name is Alfred Bulai. after we published the stories, after the case gained let's say momentum in Romania, he was also arrested. Now he's in house arrest. We resubmitted the questions to the university, the ones that the university didn't initially answer, and the questions were also sent by 25 other media outlets in Romania. And in September, after the 1 month deadline was exceeded again, we decided to sue the University of Political Studies, and we are now waiting to receive a court date. But the university didn't respond twice to the same questions, and they also didn't offer response to the rest of the Romanian media.
Thank
Well,
you.
if I can make a short completation for what Răzvan said, well, I'm one of the journalists that send the same questions, and I want to tell you that one of the 4th cases I won this year was with this university, and this university didn't respect basically the judge decision to give me information in another particular case. So it is a practice in many public institutions, not just to answer to the public request of the journalist for public information, but not to respect a court decision in the end, after we are staying 2, 3, and even more 2, 3 years and even more, just in order to receive a decision from a judge.
Yeah, so what the points you've raised are really crucial when we talk about access to information, because the oversight of public institution is usually key for the system, but it's clear that something is not worked properly in Romania, as even after courts rule in favor and order the disclosure to public bodies, they don't follow up with that. And I think this signals a problem with the culture of public institutions. They are not accepting the fact that they need to open up, being transparent. And I want to ask you, when this happens, what is the impact on not just about you as a journalist, but you also have a function of bringing this information to the public. So what is the impact on society and democracy when this system is not functioning properly?
Where we are losing piece by piece many of our rights just because public institutions are breaking their, I don't know, let's say, obligations in order to respect the law, because we have also the access to public information is a constitutional right in Romania, not just a legal right implemented in a special law. So basically, we are speaking here about such an important concept that is proper for all democracies in the world: transparency. And we are just noticing in the last years, many years, that public institutions are not giving us information, and we are not asking this information for us as person or for us as a media institution. We are asking this information for our public, because we are the ones that are we as journalists are the ones that are assuring a connection between institution and the public. And this is the main problem, that we basically notice this lack of transparency, and I am saying that we are losing piece by piece our rights, and this is a form of having a weak democracy in the end.
like Emilia said, the information does not belong to officials, to heads of institution, but to people. And I want to add only that a society in which information is restricted is more easily subject to propaganda, to misinformation.
Yeah, and I think also what public institutions often don't get in having this approach is that what the erosion of trust in the institution and what they do. And while instead opening up would facilitate the free flow of information. And so people will know what's happening in the institutions. And I think I want to ask you, what is, in your opinion and from your experience, the steps that should be taken to improve the situation? And I'm talking now as part of the Media Freedom Rapid Response and also, as an activist on the access to information, what we can do to support you to change the situation.
It's very complicated. Probably the awareness is very important, as in many other situations when journalists are facing, I don't know, threats or other things that are infringement their work. But I think in this case, in this particular case, probably awareness. Because it's a systemic problem in Romania. It's not a problem that just an institution or some institution, some particular institution has, but it's if you are speaking also with the journalists from local media, you will discover that they have the same problem with local institutions. So it is something very spread in our society, and I think it is probably part from our culture that is between 1990, just in order to keep secret everything that is related with an institution, with the functioning of an institution. But also some of other things probably are related just because the ones that are leading this institution think that they are more vulnerable if they are sharing public information to media and of course to the public. We can probably tell you many absurd examples from our work. And another thing that is very dangerous for our work is that these institutions are invoking in the last years, since 2018, when general GDPR was implemented, they are invoking GDPR just in order to not give us information, even that information are not at all related with information that of a person. So I asked, just to give you a short example, I asked the number of the people that were vaccinated during pandemic from some hospitals in a county in Romania. And they told me that the number is protected by GDPR. So the number, I didn't ask the names or the position of the people, just the number. So there are even abuses in the way that the law is understood and is applied.
I completely agree with Emilia, and I only want to add that I think we need places like this to expose these situations where we don't get answers, and not in court where it usually takes I don't know, 2 years to get the information like Emilia knows best. And also, I think that the independent press needs a bit of a help in these situations.
Yeah, so what you have rightly pointed, both you, Răzvan, and Emilia, is really, I can tell from my perspective, a problem that is very common across all Europe about the culture, and the COVID-19 pandemic, unfortunately, has really exacerbated existing problems like delays. And that experience, unfortunately, was not used in a way to say, okay, if we disclose information, we can actually contribute to, fight against disinformation, propaganda. Instead, it really came across as, we just stopped delivering a service from public bodies. And your story is really what we need to monitor across Europe and try to find ways to tackle this, particularly with the impact of journalists. Thank you very much for your time. I wish you best of luck with your work.